Hello, everybody. So hopefully you got some sort of a notice about getting that TI NSpire software on your laptop. You know you have to go to the school, sit in the parking lot, turn the laptop on, let it connect up to the school Wi-Fi, and then there's some bunch of downloads that have to happen and updates and things. So anyway, once you get the icon on your screen, okay, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to share mine real quickly. Share. Once you've got it on, this is where it looks like down here. See the one that says TI NSpire? It's a little red circly looking thing, TI NSpire. So once it's on your laptop, that's where you go to click on this thing and make it start. Now, the first time you click on it, it's going to whirl and maybe something pops up here in the middle of the screen and then it goes away. So you just keep clicking on it and it whirls and then it stops. And you click on it and it whirls and it stops. It's going to take you 5 minutes of clicking on it and letting it whirl, click on it, letting it whirl, 5 minutes of that before it finally comes up. And when it does, you're going to have two boxes here in the middle of the screen. The front box closest to you says something about, do you want to do this? And the other choice is no thanks. You're going to click on no thanks to make that box go away. So whatever it says, just say no thanks, I don't want it. The box behind it is the software that's actually loading. So you don't need to do anything with that box. Just let it do its thing, and it's, you know, over just like 10 seconds, it will load up. Okay, so once it's loaded up, this is what it's going to look like. There it comes up. And when in the future, when you do this, it comes up really quickly like this. It's not going to be that 10-minute process or 5-minute process like you had to do the first time. So the first time it comes up, it looks something like this. Okay. Now you want to change the settings so you can see it better. Over here where it says document toolbox, see this one here that looks like a little mini calculator? You want to click on that. So that one right there, everybody see that one? You click on it. What it does is it gives you the bottom half of the TI. This is like the keypad on the TI NSpire calculator, okay? You've got arrows keys going right and left, up and down. You've got an enter in the middle. You've also got an enter key down here on the right. I use this one down here. You've got your numbers. You've got multiply, divide, add, subtract over here on the side. You've got letters and stuff down here. You've got all kinds of functions and parentheses and things to use. Oh, my battery's running low. I better plug this in. So what you're going to do is change that little setting so that next time when you open it up, it looks like this. Okay, so as I said, this is the lower part that where you do all the control stuff. This over here is what you see on the screen above on the top part of your calculator. So anyway, what you do, see this one here, it says home, and it's got, well, it doesn't say home, it says on. There's a little house there. That's the home key. So whenever you first get into it, press the home key. We get to everything on this screen over here. This is the home screen. The only two things we use on this is this for adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing, just plain old math. And over here where we put equations. These are the only two icons we're going to use for a while. Now I know there's a bunch of other things this thing does, and we will learn some of it later, but the majority, 95% of the STAR test will be done on these two icons only. Okay, I know there's other ways to get to this stuff, but on the TI NSpire that they're going to hand you on test day, some of those features may not work. And so I need you to make sure that you're learning to do it the way I'm telling you to, so that you don't pick up the calculator on STAR test day and go, hey, this button's not working. Yes, they have turned it off. So get used to doing it the way I tell you to, so it will work on STAR test day. Okay, I'm telling you for a reason, so it will work on STAR test day. So this is your add subtract button. This is the to put in equations and look at the picture and look at the table. So anytime I put an equation in, it goes here. Anytime, and you can click on these. This is the one that takes me to where I do math. Home takes you back to your home screen, and then you can change it to put in an equation. This is where I put in equations. You go home between every problem and then start over again, either with the add subtract or go home and put in an equation. So those are the only two icons we're using. So back here on the home screen with the add subtract, we want to be able to put numbers and stuff into there. It's basically like, sorry guys, it's basically like the calculator you always use. So you can just type in numbers, like you can say 8 plus 3 and hit enter. You could also hit enter on your laptop. So either way you hit enter will work. You can even type the numbers in. If you don't want to type the numbers here, I think you can use your laptop. On my laptop, I'm pressing 4, and there's a plus key, plus 3. Let's see what happens. I'm hitting enter. So I did all that on my laptop, not over here. So you can do it over here. You can also do it on the laptop. So you can type in numbers and hit that. However, if you don't see the multiplication and division on your laptop, use them over here. Okay. Now negative numbers. I know this is tricky because you have this negative key over here and you have a subtraction key. The negative key, really, you can get by with never using the negative key. If I want to say -5 plus 2, I can say subtract 5 plus 2. And, oh, wait, put an answer in there. Let me back up. So sometimes it sticks in the answer from the previous one, so I don't want that. I just want to say -5. And so I used the subtraction key. I didn't use the negative key. I did subtraction. I'm testing this. Oh, it still put the answer back in. I don't want the answer. Oh, that could be why, because I'm using subtraction. So if I'm doing the subtraction key, it's going to always go back to that answer. So you're going to have to use the negative key, and then you can type in the 5. Oops, I put too many 5s in. So -5, and then plus 2. So it would not let me use the subtraction key at the very beginning because it kept thinking I was taking the answer and subtracting 5. So if I want to start something off with a negative key, I've got to use this one down here that has the parentheses. But that is the only time you need to use that, is at the very beginning. Otherwise, the rest of the time you can use subtraction only. And then of course you hit enter, and that's going to tell you it is a -3. Now when we put fractions in, okay, if I want to put in the fraction 2/3, there's an easy way to do this. There's a control key over here. You hit the control key first and then hit the divide key. Control and then divide gives you a fraction on your screen. So you can type in the top number. You can arrow down on your laptop keys, or you can arrow down up here using the down arrow and then type in your bottom number. Oops, let's put it as 3. Let's put in 2/4. If I put in 2/4 and hit enter, it will change it still in fraction form, but it is now reduced in fraction form. And that's great because most of the time we leave our fractions in fraction form, especially if it's a slope. So I can see that it's up 1/2, up 1/2. What if you do want to change it to a decimal? Right now, before I move on, I can hit Control and then enter. And Control and enter will now change it into a decimal answer. Everybody see that? So if I have a fraction that I'm doing, let's say I'm going to put in 2/6. So I'm going to do Control divide for my fraction. Control divide. I'm going to do negatives. Let's make this a -2 over a -6. So I have a -2 on top and a -6 on bottom, and I want to reduce this fraction down. You just hit enter, and it reduces it for you in fraction form. It is 1/3. Okay. Now, what if you wanted to change it to a decimal answer? You can do that by hitting Control and then enter again. And now it changes it to its decimal version, which is 0.33333, and it keeps going forever. So a lot of times that's why we leave them in fraction form, so you don't have to have these messy decimals. But occasionally you will need to change it. Let's do one more. Let's say add Control divide, and I'm going to put in 4/2. So if that was my fraction, and again I want to reduce it down, I hit enter, and it tells me, oh, it's the whole number 2. So that in case the slope would have been a +2. So again, that Control divide comes in handy. Now remember when we were doing y minus y over x minus x, that is one big fraction. So put Control divide for your fraction, and then on top you can do parentheses, and you can type in 3. Maybe the y number is a 3 minus parentheses 2, or let's make it a 1. Close the parentheses, and you can tab down to the bottom. So this was a y number was 3, and the y number was a +1, and you're subtracting it, right? So I always tell you do parentheses minus parentheses on top, parentheses minus parentheses on bottom. So here's my parentheses, and I put in, let's make this a -2, close the parentheses, subtract parentheses, let's make it a -1. Okay, so here's my x number -2, and here's my other x number -1. So you see how you can make this one big fraction, y minus y on top, x minus x on bottom, and then you just hit enter one time, and voila, there is your slope -2. It reduces it down for you all in one step. So again, y numbers on top, x numbers on bottom. It's just a big Control divide problem. Okay, so there's the math version. Now, sometimes, we need to do exponents. So what if I have 2 to the 3rd power? I want to put a little 3 up high here, a little tiny exponent. So to get the exponent, you see this little key here that looks like on here on the left-hand side, down below the control, below the equal sign, it looks like a little rooftop. That is your power key. It lets you put a number in over here now that's up high. So if this is 2 to the 3rd power, I can type 3 in there and then hit enter. Now, what if I needed to do some more? If I continue typing right now with the plus sign, it's got it in the exponent. So to get out of the exponent, I need to arrow over. See this arrow key? If I arrow over, I'm now out of the exponent, and now I can type in a plus, and I'm back in the normal part of the math stuff. So be careful that you don't type everything in up with the exponent. After the exponent's done, arrow over, and then you can type in the rest of it. And then you can hit enter, and it will tell you what 2 to the 3rd power plus 2 is, which is 10, because 2 to the 3rd power is 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So that's how you get your exponents in. That little rooftop key is, again, that thing that lets you do the rooftop, that lets you put a power in. Those are your exponents. Okay, so there's that. Let's go back to home because we want to do equations. So we go back to our graph icon. This is where all equations go. Now, the first time I put an equation in, there's going to be a little 1 here. The next time I put an equation in, there's going to be a little 2 there. They're just keeping track of how many equations I type in until I close out the software and start over. So this f of x is your y equals. So if I want to put in the equation y equals 2x plus 1, I'm just going to type in the 2x plus 1. And you can do it in your laptop or you can do it over here. Here's your x keys down here. So 2x and then your plus and then your 1. So once you hit enter, and you can hit enter again over here on the keyboard, or you can do it on the laptop keyboard or over here, it gives you the graph of that line. Now, when you were doing it in Desmos, you could hover over this and see the y-intercept and see the x-intercept. You can't hover and do that. There's another way to do it. It's called tracing. So to put it in trace mode, once the equation is in and you have your graph, and you can visually answer questions just right now, but we want to go to menu. Here, see, there's the menu key over here to the right of the arrows. Menu's right here. If you press menu, we want to trace. Trace is number 5. So press 5. And then underneath that, we want 1 because we're tracing the graph. So menu 5-1 puts it in trace mode. See this little X here? That's the cursor now. Right now, it is on the y-axis, so this is a y-intercept. Where is it crossing the y-axis? See this down here? This is the ordered pair of that point. So 0, 1, I run 0 and jump up to 1. That is the ordered pair for that point. So 1 is your y number on the y-axis. The y-intercept, oops, didn't mean to do that. Your y-intercept is 1, okay? Now, we want to go find the x-intercept. So we're in trace mode. Right now, I can use the arrow keys over here to slide up and down that line. If I go right, so I'm doing right now, it slides to the right. And as it slid to the right, here's the new coordinates of that point. I can hit this arrow key again, and it slides up again, and here's the new points. So I can keep sliding right and go all the way up the line, but the x-intercept is the other way, so we're going to go down. Now notice if I do the down key, nothing happens. It does not move whatsoever. If I do the up key, nothing moves. The tracing only works on left to right, so that's one thing that kind of freaks people out because they can't get it to move. So I slide down, and it tells me when you're on the x-axis, it says, hey, you're on the 0 right now. Over here, what is the x number? You're at -0.5. So the x-intercept is -0.5. All right, you can slide back up, and it tells you when you're on the y-axis, it says, hey, you're on the y-intercept right now. And then you can see the y-intercept number down here, the y is 1. So you can trace up and down any line or any parabola or anything you want to do with the trace feature. Now, what if we want to see the table? Okay, table starts with the letter T. So to get to the table, you hit the control key and press the T. So here's the T down here. So control T turns this table on. Here are the X numbers. Here are the Y numbers. That goes to where the equation is. They tell you the equation is y equals 2x plus 1. That's the equation we typed in. So here are the Y numbers in the right column. Here are the X numbers in the left column. Now, to get to the other ones off the screen, you have to scroll up and down. So over here are your scroll keys, and you can scroll up and get into the negative numbers, and you can scroll down and get into when it's on the positive numbers. And I know that's backwards because normally when you're going up and down, negative numbers are down, positive numbers are up. But make sure you're on the correct X number. When X is 4, the Y number is 9. When X is 5, the Y number is 11. If you're looking for the negative numbers, make sure you're on the negative numbers. When X is a -4, the Y is a -7. So that's how you do the table. Now you can't just jump to one like we could on the Desmos. And so if you're trying to get to -20, you've got to slide all the way up till you get to -20. So from that standpoint, the Desmos was quicker. However, don't use Desmos anymore because you will not have Desmos on Star Test Day. You need to get used to using this one. Now, how do you make this table go away? Control T turned it on. Control T turns it off. If I need to go back and look at the table again, Control T turns it on. Control T turns it off. So Control T turns your table on and off. Menu 5-1 lets you trace up and down it. Okay, so that's basically all we're doing right now in it besides the math screen that we talked about a little while ago. If you have any other questions, email me, come on a Zoom meeting, and we can discuss it further. I will leave this up in that announcement for a long time so everybody can come back and look at this when you need to. Bye, everybody.